it constantly comes up, okay, this is great technology. What is exactly Anviz's position on data security, data privacy, especially from a surveillance standpoint, or biometrics, which is what we're talking about with the M7 Palm. So let's talk about that for a second here. Let me pull up the right slide here. Yeah, so first of all, there's some basic principles that Anviz, as a global organization, is really committing itself to. I mean, first of all, the pillars of this capability is really about, can the data and be managed in a purpose limitation perspective. And what that means is it a single purpose, a specific legitimate way of kind of managing the data? That's really important. We're not just collecting data to use it willy-nilly in a lot of perhaps illegitimate or illicit ways. So this is in the case of this device, this is about securing only authorized people to enter a certain location. That is obviously falls under the purpose limitation angle of our data privacy strategy. Data mitigation. What that means is that we're only collecting the minimum amount of personal information required for the intended purposes. No more information, no less information. So that's really important as well. The quality of the data information. Now, this is particularly important because if you're collecting information, data can get stale, data can get inaccurate, and the obviously objective here is to make sure that the data, while it's being managed in an Anviz device, that it's done in a complete and up-to-date manner. And obviously, data security is a big deal. Anviz is implementing measures to protect personal data from unauthorized access, from disclosure, alteration, which is very, very important, or destruction, because a lot of that information may be required by law enforcement services after the fact. So that's important as well. We talked about data minimization, data security, access controls. The cross-check capability, obviously, from an access control is tantamount to that. But at the end of the day, and I want to get your opinion on this, is that what we want users, what we want our distributors, what we want customers to take away is really these key takeaways. Is that first and foremost, Anviz takes data privacy incredibly seriously. We comply with all federal and state level regulatory laws. That's very, very important. We talked about data minimization. That's important as well. We're only looking to utilize the data that's absolutely necessary to running these devices that we sell. We have robust security measures in place. We're a company that's all built around transparency and consent. From a EULA standpoint, I won't get into the EULA component of this, but when you buy this product and you're using our software, there's a EULA or a legal agreement authorization that Anviz is complying to and asking the user to agree to. And finally, from a vigilance standpoint, we recognize a lot of this stuff is fluid in terms of the way that data is managed, the way we protect it. You can't build a strategy just that stays inert and it doesn't change over the time. So obviously we'll change that as the laws change, as the requirements on Anviz change. But do you have anything to add to that, Stephen, just from just a key takeaway standpoint?
Yeah, I think the key really for us is, and I think this is very good from my personal perspective, is that Anviz is a GDPR compliant company, which we take very much to heart. In order to be GDPR, this is not a snapshot in time. This isn't we bolt this on and everything works kind of a thing. You commit to becoming compliant and then staying compliant. It's an auditable process. Internally, we go through a lot of effort to make sure that we remain, as indicated by continuous vigilance.
Yes.
This isn't a do it once and then everything else can fall off your plate. It's consistent and a commitment to a process that keeps our customers safe. And by that I mean really their data. We want them to feel safe with their data. They want, because we're a global company, GDPR is perhaps the toughest specification to adhere to, but X Things Anviz has taken upon themselves to make this our core security compliance. And I think it's a great process for us, but it requires a lot of work from our perspective that we can just walk away from it. As you point out, there's levels of what have to be done here. Once you commit to doing it, it becomes part of your company. It's not less of a task and more of your corporate culture. And that
Right.
should, hopefully that gives our customers a good feel that their data is safe, secure with us, and that we will treat it with GDPR compliance in mind, which requires us to be careful with what we do.
Well, and then that too is, and I wanted to kind of, as we kind of ease to the end of the webinar here, is that Anviz's position on data security, the regulatory component, privacy, is as important, maybe even more important than the technology itself. I mean, the technology obviously enables some of the wonderful capabilities that we can provide, but we put the pillar of security and privacy on the same plane from an important standpoint. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Oh yeah, and I would say also that the important thing that we keep in mind is that we don't own your data. Your data is not useful to us, whether it's biometric data, user data. That's between you and the use of the application software. We don't have any access to that. We don't want access to it. It's really an effort to make sure that using our software means you understand you have complete control of your own data and that we have no means of retaining that data. We don't want it. We don't have a means to get it. That entirely belongs to you.